Hello everyone, my name is Rochelle Innocent and I'm the founder and CEO of Project Purpose. Welcome to our channel. Our community is focused on fostering the intellectual and character development in children. We do this through our parent-child workshops that are focused on 4 themes: autonomy, self-efficacy, compassion, and self-concept, in order to cultivate grit, perseverance, and resilience in each child. And we are so thrilled to be offering one of the first of its kind digital, virtual, and continuous learning environments, enabling parents and children to connect from all around the world. At Project Purpose, our overarching mandate is to renew and rebuild family, community, and relationships. Our different social media platforms provide us with an opportunity to have discussions and to create space on all topics that relate to family, community, and relationships with ourselves as well as with others, with a primary focus on mental health and education. More precisely, the ways that the institutions of mental health and education play a role and have played a role in our societies at large. These discussions and debates enable us to think critically about how we can recreate and co-create environments, both socially and politically, that will enable our children to thrive. For those of you who are particularly keen on the topic, we also write thought pieces every other Sunday. We have one scheduled to drop this upcoming Sunday, so be sure to meander over to the website and check out our online content. Now, if it is the case that you are looking for a listening alternative, well, we're available on 12 different podcast platforms for your listening leisure, and we've provided you with access to the links in the description down below. Now, as is the convention, be sure to subscribe, hit that post notification bell so that you are aware of every time we post. And of course, if you like these conversations and you want to keep them going, like, comment, and share this segment. Let's get into it. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another segment here on Project Purpose. For those of you who are new, we cover topics that relate to mental health, mental wellness, and education on a week-by-week basis. And today the topic of discussion is mental wellness, and we're continuing the conversation. We're doing a 2-part series this week on compatibility. And the first video this week was what compatibility isn't for me. So the things that I measure and that I gauge when I'm trying to decipher whether or not someone is compatible with me. And then now this video is what it is. So some of the things that I would highlight as exceptional areas that would really tell me that this person is highly compatible to me. And again, compatibility is something that I sense. It's not something that I am told, right? So a lot of people want to sell themselves. They want to put their best foot forward. They see there being a value out of being part of your life. So we can't always trust the things that people say. So I like to take the more observational route. I like to feel people out. And a lot of people say that they feel me sort of like really stepping into them, like as I'm getting to know them. And it's because I really want to make sure that we're compatible, right? So I want to make sure that who I am, as I am, across the spectrum of all the ways that I can show up, it's something that that person in front of me who's looking to build a relationship with me can handle. They can carry that. And because I love all parts of me, so even the parts of me that very rarely come out, you know, since I've learned to regulate and master my emotions, I firmly believe that you do not deserve me at my best if you cannot handle me at my worst. And while the opportunity to see me at my worst by way of like me exhibiting like behaviors that are not that toward, I mean, I think the likelihood of that is very low, but it doesn't change the fact that it's still my measure. I still want to make sure that if I am presenting at my worst, that's not gonna, you know, cause you to yourself shut down. I'm not gonna like debilitate you, or you're not gonna just like, you know, hit the road because you didn't sign up for that. Like if you want to be in on relationship with me, then it needs to be all of it. And also I believe that gauging compatibility comes from a place of self-love. It comes from a place of like loving yourself, all of yourself, even the parts that the world would rather that you hate. And I love every part of the way that I show up. And while there are parts of me, I show up that way and it can be a little bit daunting. Like if I'm angry, I'm sure that that's not the best experience for anyone. Or if I'm feeling really, you know, out of sorts, I'm sure that's not the best experience for everyone. But I firmly believe if that's the way I'm showing up, like it's for a reason. I'm very rarely, you know, inclined to behave in a way just for the sake of behaving it. But like if it is the case someone's poking the bear, like can they handle it? And most people don't know what it is that they're signing up for because, you know, at least since 20, I've been very good at mastering my own emotions, but I still want to make sure that the people who I let into my inner circle can handle the full gamut of it. So that's essentially the preamble. That's where this conversation is going. I do think that when you're gauging and you're evaluating for compatibility, it does need to come from a place of self-acceptance. You can't gauge if someone's compatible with the version of you that you want to show up as, because that's not authentic, right? Like, compatibility comes from a place of authenticity and also wanting the best for you by surrounding yourself with the best people for you based on who you are, your emotional footprint, your character, your value, beliefs, the whole full Monty. So all of that to say, I have my little 5 points here that I use as like gauges as to whether or not I feel someone's compatible to me. And I'm always accommodating. So it's never the case where I'm like explicitly telling someone, like, unless it's like we're testing each other, we're testing the waters for like a romantic relationship. It's just I'm managing distance, right? I'm managing proximity with the people that I feel are not compatible, right? So there's only going to be so much depth that someone can achieve with me if I gauge that, you know, I have to accommodate a lot of their behaviors, or have to be really mindful with this person, because like I have a strong personality, and if I'm not mindful, then I could accidentally like really hurt this person, you know? And so like if I find that I'm having to do a lot of that, like I'm doing a lot of accommodating and doing a lot of, you know, managing of the relationship, those are not the relationships that I want to hold near and dear to my heart. Like if I can be who I am without censor, and that is like the best for you, and like you love that version of myself, then those are the people that are part of my inner circle. So I guess that brings me to the 5 points. So the first point is someone who takes up space unapologetically, someone who I can feel them enter the room before I see them enter the room. And I find that this is a lot of what people experience with me. I'm a high energy person. I take up space. I take up space by way of my personality, by way of my opinions, by way of like my insights, my vision. I am a small person who takes up a lot of space just because of who I am. And I love people who take up space, people that I can sense before I can see, and unapologetic about it. Like a lot of people do their best to make themselves as small as possible, and those just are not my kind of people. Like I am someone who has dealt with a lot of what comes to someone who takes up space in a way that people don't expect or don't appreciate. Like there's some consequences that come with that, and I have borne those consequences with grace. So I want to meet other people and align myself to other people who also take up space, who are unapologetic about it, and people that I can feel, like you feel the weight of their presence, you feel the weight of their character before they say one word. So that for me, if I sense that, automatically I feel compatible with that person. Whether that translates as a friendship or not, it depends, because that means they have a big personality, they have a strong character. So then we're looking at value alignment and belief alignment for that to translate as a friendship. But that's like the building block 100% for me, for sure. And then the second thing that I look at for compatibility is someone who sees and also harnesses their leadership potential. And this also builds into security, right? Someone who's very secure in who they are, sees themselves as a leader, because we're all leaders in some way, shape, or form. And they harness that. So they harness that whether they're in a formal role or whether in an informal setting. Like I love when I see someone like be very vocal about their style of leadership and like really step into their potential, step into who they see themselves becoming, in the way that they articulate themselves, the way that they communicate with other people. Like for me, leadership is everything. And I love being around leaders, like people who lead within their own right, people who have their own vision of the world around them, their own opinions, and they don't just bend to the convention. I don't think that that's very exciting. I don't think those conversations are very exciting to have, like with people who, you know, toe the line and who, you know, don't break any rules and who don't have any strong opinions that could rock the boat. Like I'm too much opposite of that for our conversations to be something that like excites either one of us, right? So someone who really harnesses their leadership potential, sees themselves as a leader, and also like doesn't shrink back in front of other leaders. Like they can see there being room and space for leaders to convene with one another without it being a competitive situation. Another one, and this one took me a while to like put on my list because of like my own healing journey and my own self-love journey, is like loyalty. Loyalty is so important, and I've dealt with so many people who had such a hard time being loyal because, you know, like when you have a lot of mutual friends and like someone does something wrong, you really would rather not have to exercise loyalty. You kind of want everything to stay the same, but they're not the same. And I've realized that I deserve loyalty because I am a loyal person. So I only want to be around people who feel inclined and convicted to be loyal to me, not just with their words, but in their actions, not just when I'm there, but in my absence. And that for me is a huge compatibility factor. And that typically you only gauge that with time and with experience. But like as you become more of the topic of discussion, the topic du jour, you have a better sense of whose loyalty you have and where loyalties lie. And for me, loyalty is a non-negotiable. Like if you're someone who struggles being loyal to the people that you call friends, then like wait until you've like mastered that in your personal journey. But I am not someone who makes myself available for people who struggle with loyalty. I did in the past, I will not do it moving forward. So loyalty is a huge compatibility factor for me. And then we have bold and daring. I love people who are bold, who have bold opinions and who are daring. And daring by way of that they align themselves to what it is they're hoping to achieve, even if it's against the odds. Because I think the odds are built to keep us in a small little box and to keep us aligned to like norms, traditions, and conventions. And it's never as drastic or as impossible as people like to think that it is. So I am someone who really enjoys being in the presence of someone who is bold and who is daring. And not just in the words they say, but in the way that they manage themselves and manage their energy. Like you can feel that like it is within their essence that they are these bold individuals. And for me, that is a huge compatibility flag. Like I love bold people, some of the best and brightest people that you'll ever meet, because they're the ones who are the game changers. They're the ones who are going to create the new normals of tomorrow and are going to keep pushing the needle on change, right? And change that is like required, that is needed. A lot of us are kind of the Walking Dead, right? And it's not a show that I personally have cared to watch by any means, but it's like we're so out of it in that like nothing about the way the world is running aligns with our own beliefs, but we don't feel like we have what it takes to like make any significant change or any impacts. We don't try at all. And like I can't be around that kind of energy, because that's like really depressing, quite frankly, to be around people who like just don't see their ability or the power that they have to enforce change. But I love being around people who do see that and who are trying in whatever way, shape, or form, and whatever like aspect of life, they're trying to bring that to fruition as well. Yes, and so that brings me to my last one. And my last one is someone who is ready to handle you at your worst, right? So someone who doesn't only want the best parts of you or the brightest pieces of you, they are happy to have the ugly parts as well, right? And I don't like to use the word ugly because I don't like to consider any part of myself as like ugly by any means. But like if I am in a bad situation, like you're still there for me. You're not just there when things are great. You're there when things are rough. You're there when things, hit a turn. Like I think that those kinds of people who aren't easily swayed by the narrative or easily swayed by the rhetoric, I didn't realize to what extent that was so valuable or was so necessary before you considered someone like as compatible to you. Like someone who is only aligned to you because that's the popular opinion is someone who is like going to be so ready to drop you when that opinion changes. And like, why invest energy in those kinds of temporal people? And I'm not interested in doing that. In any case, those were my 5 as to what compatibility is. Those are some of the key fundamentals that I look for. And obviously there are more, but those are the fundamentals. And again, those are not things that you can speak into existence. Those are things I gauge on a sensory level. Those are things that I can experience and like can personally get a sense of. And then I will navigate my energy accordingly. It does need to be a conversation. There does not need to be any hurt feelings, but it does need to be an exercise to make sure that I'm aligning myself only to the people that I'm compatible to, even if I'm not necessarily initially attracted or drawn to those individuals. Those are the individuals that I will seek out if I don't find them just in existing on a day-to-day basis. In any case, that was it, but definitely not all. Now, before letting you go, I would be remiss if I didn't let you know that we will be going live at least twice a month, every month for the foreseeable future on our Facebook page. So definitely be sure to tune in. Now, these events are paid events, so if you do see yourself participating in our community on an ongoing basis, then I do suggest that you take a look at one of our package plans. Yes, so we do offer package plans over and above our live events, as well as access to webinars and workshops, largely focused on self-mastery over and above these events. So check it out. Join in on our game changer community, being part of the change that you want to see, allowing us a small role to play in your journey. We are on the road to 1K, so definitely leave a like, leave a comment down below. Check us out across all of our social media platforms. Follow us there, and we look forward to chatting with all of you very soon. We'll talk to you later.